Breaking news coming out of Old Trafford. Manchester United have sacked manager Jose Mourinho. The 3-1 defeat on Sunday at Liverpool, too much for the board, and they've chosen to move on without the Portuguese. And with our resident Manchester United expert, Simon Barlow, I've got to ask you, is it a shock?
I think it's a shock to the wider footballing world, but to those that go to United games, I don't think it is really. There's certainly been a real drop-off in performance level this season. And I think when you look at the league table, 19 points behind leaders Liverpool, never a good place for any United manager to be. There's also the question of whether they can actually make it into the top four this season. They're so far off the pace, and also Manchester City playing so well. It doesn't look good right now. Something had to be done. You've got the transfer window coming up in just a couple of weeks' time. So I think this was a point where the United board had to act, and they've decided that Mourinho is yesterday's man. Yeah, well, a big call now. Do they go for a temporary option or a big gun, go all out for a Pochettino with Zidane, something like that, or they go interim for the next 6 months until the end of the season, see us through, and then go again in the summer? You mentioned Pochettino. Will he be willing to just drop everything at Tottenham Hotspur? The season they're having, most points they've ever had at this point in a Premier League season. Zidane is out of work, so he could be available. The question there is, does he actually have the command of English maybe to come into the United dressing room? And does he actually want to maybe break up his sabbatical year to take over what some people would regard as a bit of a basket case in Manchester United, with the current imbalance in the squad, the problems behind the scenes with no director of football? Mourinho was always against the board in some of the decisions they made on his transfer targets. So I guess you've always got that to factor into any new manager's thoughts. Do they want to come into Manchester United at this point? The money, the reputation, the tradition of the club will always be an attraction, but there are so many questions that need to be answered first. And I think an interim probably is the right way to go. Someone who knows the club, someone who can come in, knows the players, a lot of egos to manage in that dressing room. So somebody who perhaps has a bit of an insight into it could be the way to go. But I think they've just got to get United playing with a smile on the face and playing the right way. The Mourinho style of football wasn't universally popular. They've got to move away from that now. And at least in this interim period, start playing good football, whether the results come or not. Yeah, certainly interesting times at Old Trafford. Just to reiterate, Jose Mourinho has been sacked as Manchester United boss, and there's sure to be plenty to come from this story.